everyone, I am Anastasia, aka the Spiritual Goth. I am a psychic tarot reader located in Los Angeles, California. And today what I'm going to do is I'm focusing on shadow work right now. And so I did some research and I ordered 3 different decks that I think is going to help me in my shadow work process and also my clients and you. So first, let me just tell you what shadow work is. Shadow work, to me, because everyone kind of interprets it differently, is the process in which you uncover whatever subconscious or repressed feelings that you might have that are affecting you on a daily basis. These patterns and behaviors can be causing negative behavior patterns in your life, and these are behavior patterns that can show up in your thoughts and actions. Shadow work is really like, I always tell people, we have this duality within us. We have our light being side and our shadow side. The shadow side of us is the darkness within us that we don't like to think about and that we don't like to we like to avoid, because dealing with the dark stuff is hard, and sometimes it's easier to just kind of live in the comfortability of ignoring it. So I'm going to do a full video on like my shadow work process and shadow work, but while I am coming up with that video, I want you to think about what you need to be focusing on right now in terms of your own shadow work. What shadow work do you need to do that will be beneficial to you? What do you need to uncover? And that's what I will be doing in this reading today. I'm using these 3 oracle decks, and I'm also going to be reviewing them. I literally just opened them, and I haven't even made friends with them yet, but I think that's okay, and we're going to go through this together. The first deck is the Blind Spot Oracle deck. The second deck is the Dark Mirror Oracle deck. And the third one is the Healing Mantra deck. I had to change the orientation of the camera. This is so much better. So what we are going to do is we are going to, first I will pull a general card just to see like a check-in, how you're feeling, how you're doing. And then we are going to look at these oracle cards. Actually, first we'll look at the oracle cards and like just get a feel for them. So the first one is the Blind Spot Oracle. So obviously you don't need to be psychic to buy oracle cards. And everyone's a little psychic anyway, so you are psychic. But what I mean is, you don't need to be a professional reader to buy oracle cards. So consider purchasing these decks. So the Blind Spot Oracle cards have a simple but incredibly effective purpose: to reveal what you are not aware of relative to the question you are asking. Our blind spots may have hidden motives, fears, desires, needs, truth, reasons, habits, patterns, the list goes on. The oracle will make you aware of them, and if you are aware, you can take action. So this is literally perfect for shadow work. So let's look at it. Come on. Fresh new deck. Okay, so not being aware of something on our life path is just as dangerous as not seeing something when we're driving. The 78 sigils in this deck, all painted during trance by Teal Swan, will be your guides and teachers in revealing your blind spots. The more you use the deck, the more your relationship with these potent sources of insight and energy will deepen. Okay, and also, yeah, like if you're not a professional reader, like I'm probably not going to use the book, but that's what the book is for. And it looks like there's a lot of it. Oh my gosh. There are like so many pages per card. So for example, like short-term thinking, limits, having to be right. For having to be right, there's all of these pages that kind of talks about it. Wanting to be right. This is good. Non-commitment, coping, bypassing, meaning your trauma, running away from emotion, suppression. I might look at the book just to like see what's here when I pull for you guys. This is cool. So these cards, this deck comes with temporary tattoos, which is cool. I love opening a new deck. Okay, so let's. Alright, so I guess you have to use the book because there are no words on these. At least to look up the meanings. There are literally no words, just symbols. Which is very interesting. They all have numbers, so I'm guessing that like you look up the number that corresponds. Yeah, so you look up the number to determine the meaning. And there are some spreads in here. Please tell me there is a table of contents. There is no table of contents, so you have to like look through the book. Alright, that's okay. I'm sure that won't take away from how great this deck is. Let's get my energy on them and ask this deck what information it has for me. Like if there's any information that I can get from it. Meditate, journal, ask questions for your higher, to your higher self. That's what this is about. That is what the deck has told me. A card came out for me, so I had to know what it was. And I got automaton. You are stuck in a pattern. And there's a lot. And I think for me, this is something that is accurate, and I'll talk about this in my shadow work video. It's like I get on a routine, and then I overwork myself, and then I get off that routine, and that's kind of a pattern that I experience. Like I haven't sat down and watched TV once this week. And I love helping people. Like that is, like I said before, like my purpose. So I feel like through like my readings and tutoring and helping just like everyone that I can, my friends and all that, like I don't really take time for myself, and like it's a pattern. And it's like I always thought that I did that to avoid myself, but I think I'm just a workaholic. I don't know. But there are also like other patterns, like patterns with food, because I have so many issues with food. Like there's a lot. So that is a part of my shadow work process. That thank you to this deck for telling me that, or at least like pointing it out. So let's see what this deck for us, the Dark Mirror deck. The art here, first of all, is pretty amazing. This deck is nice. Oh no, there's plastic on it. So this deck, there are when you're looking for a shadow work deck, it generally is like the darker themed decks that you're looking for. And I went into the store and I was like, what decks do you have for shadow work? And I really think that the way I view shadow work is different from the way other people view shadow work, because the people in the store, they were only looking for dark themed decks. And I picked up this one, the Healing Mantra. And they were like, I don't think that's a shadow work deck because it's not dark themed. And I was like, what is shadow work? Shadow work is healing. Shadow work is figuring out who you are and finding yourself. And this deck, the Healing Mantra, is perfect for that. And I'll talk about this in a second. So this deck, whoa. Oh my god, this deck is so cool. Like, let me just... This one says, Obsession, Is This Me, Gilded Regret, Alone in the World, Sacrifice, The Child I Was Meant to Be, Envious Gluttony. There's a lot here. So yeah, definitely if you get these cards though, like, they're so... These type of oracle cards are not easy if you're not in touch with your intuition. So you'll get this card, Fragmentation, and you might be like, how does this relate to my life or my experience? So that's when the book comes in handy. Ooh. This is great. So it talks about the image, and then it gives you a sentence that to marinate on and maybe like journal about, and then it gives you Going Dark, a section that says Going Dark, like delving deeper into the darkness of the card. This is really great. Oh, let me see what the box says. A spiritual mirror for those who are not yet shining in the light but are still surrounded by darkness. I'm really excited for this reading that I'm about to do. So this is the Healing Mantra, which is just like a book that is just all about healing, and I love it. We have releasing expectations, opening my mind, overcoming fear, uncovering confidence, celebrating simplicity, anchoring the light. I used this deck already yesterday in my readings, which was really cool. This demystifying the darkness, embracing worthiness, welcoming surrender, hearing inner guidance, unhooking the past, polishing my heart, rewriting the subconscious. And these are really nice, like very nicely decorated cards. Like I really like them. Dispelling sadness. So this is a deck that I would recommend to you guys because it has a little bit more information on it. So I think this is a good like intermediate deck, or beginner even. Like integrating the ego. Everything is for me, not against me. What does that mean to you? And I really think that like when I give readings, I'll show someone a card like this, and they'll be like, I know what that means exactly. So if you're just tuned into yourself and your energy, then you shouldn't have an issue. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to draw 3 piles right now. Alright, it is time for your personal reading. Remember guys, this is a general reading, so not everything's going to resonate with you, and whatever doesn't resonate, just leave that for the next person because it probably resonates with them. Please take a few deep breaths and choose which pile speaks to you. The first pile has an amethyst crystal on it. The second pile has smoky quartz, and the third pile has rose quartz. I'll let you guys take a second to look over the piles, and I'll see you in your readings. All right, Padawan, here we go. So I pulled a couple of tarot cards just to give a fuller picture. I pulled a past and a present because in shadow work you want to focus on the past and what is influencing the present. You don't want to focus on the future because that's not what shadow work is about. The shadow work is about looking at the past to heal the present. If you're constantly thinking about the future, that means you're constantly wanting control of your life, which you can't control the future that much. You can only control the present and you can control the past. So that's what I did. So in the past, you have the 10 of Wands. You've taken on too much. You've overworked yourself. You've overburdened yourself. You carried the weight on your shoulders. It feels like you are someone who doesn't really put a lot of emphasis on healing yourself and focusing on yourself. A lot of your focus might be on other people. And it just seems like that is something that you've done for so long that this has become a pattern in your life. And in the present, we have the 5 of Wands. And the 5 of Wands is a card that, as you can see, all these people are fighting. They're in conflict with one another. There might be some conflicts in your current relationships based on this negative pattern, this pattern that you've had in your life. It's not necessarily negative, but it's avoiding. So this pattern that you've had in your life is causing you to view your relationships in a negative way, because you might be someone who's like, I do so much for everyone else and I carry so much on my shoulders that this creates a conflict in your life where you expect more from people. And this might be something that then in turn affects you and your self-esteem, the way that you view yourself. I think that the 5 of Wands is a card that represents like your issue in relationships in general. Maybe you keep yourself busy to avoid it feels like there's an avoidance of like true connection that you have with people. Like maybe you're afraid of something. You're afraid of getting hurt. You're afraid of you're tired of carrying all of the weight on your shoulders and you're looking for more. But it's like that's a pattern that needs to be broken. You don't need to carry everything on your shoulders. Recognizing that and realizing that and figuring out how you're going to change this pattern that you have experienced maybe your entire life is difficult, but I think that recognizing it is the first step. And so next we have Black Flower Fragrance, which I admit is a card that is, I feel like when I think of Black Flower Fragrance, Black Flower Fragrance, there's darkness around you. This card, it makes me think of like overworking yourself, overburdening yourself to avoid the darkness. It's funny because it sounds like a lot like the shadow work that I told you that I did. It seems like it's recognizing that we all have the black flower fragrance around us, this darkness around us, and there's a need to embrace it, and that's what shadow work is all about. I think that like that is something that you need to look into. Like, how can I embrace this darkness around me and really come to terms with who I am and really try to make changes in my life, knowing that it's okay to have this darkness. Everyone has it. And how can you work through it? How can you move past these feelings of like never feeling like you're doing enough? Because that's what I'm getting from your reading. That's what I'm sensing. That's what I'm feeling. And this kind of goes into the next card, Artificial Heart. It's like everything in your life feels fake. I don't think that you're someone who is truly content and happy with yourself. And that's just because you're not in touch with yourself. artificially on the surface, you might seem like someone who's really happy and like together and all that, but it seems like there's literally the dark part of yourself that you're hiding. And maybe your relationship seems superficial. Maybe your relationship with yourself is even superficial. I think there's a lot of just like inauthenticity in your life, like not really feeling authentic, feeling like your true self because you don't really know what your true self is, because you've put so much of your attention in other people and in other things and not on yourself. So that's what the shadow work process is all about. So let's move on to these cards, the blind spot oracle cards, which of course I need to look into the book for. We have this really cool design, number 40. I can't even interpret that, so number 40. Okay, we have suppression. This card is about suppression. It says, think about the situation at hand and complete the following sentences. Ooh, I like this. I hate it when blank. I'm so angry that blank. I'm fed up with blank. I am filled with rage when blank. I feel so disappointed when blank. I feel sad when blank. If you've drawn this card, you need to stop suppressing in order to get anywhere relative to the situation at hand. This is what I mean. Artificial heart, suppressing your emotions, suppressing who you are, and not really like dealing with things. You're hiding you're putting all of your feelings into a box, and you're like, I'll deal with that later, but you never quite do because you're not allotting the time to do so. Let's see what 49 means. These are cool images, though. It said, like, I know on the back of the deck, it said that these images were designed through a trance. So this person was in a trance-like state, and these images were channeled, probably. I just skipped to the exact page. Maybe that's, I don't know, it's cool. Okay, so we have bias. Being biased is currently causing you to deviate from conscious awareness as a rational judgment. This card is not asking you to be neutral. It is simply asking you to consider that all things in the universe are a part of you. You cannot turn so aggressively against one part of yourself in favor for another part of yourself without doing yourself damage. So, again, ignoring the parts of yourself that need to come forward. I think that this card has to do with, like, not really, like, being, like it said, being biased towards yourself. Focusing on, I think that in the back of your mind, in your head, you're focusing on the negative, but outwardly to other people, you might be focusing on the positive. So that, like I said, it's like this facade that you're putting on that makes it look like you are happy and content, but you're not. I think that is something that I'm seeing here. And then we have number 75. Hello. Incompatibility is present and you are not seeing or acknowledging it. See, there's so much of just avoiding and ignoring. And you have to really ask yourself, what are you afraid of here? There are a lot of pages here. This card shows up in your life with a message. An upset is always a call to awaken. It is always a setup on behalf of the universe to call you to make changes to your thoughts, communications, actions, and situation. It will benefit you to spend some time accepting in the energy of Sigil 14, as well as this one, and coming to understand its message as well. Okay, you know what? Because it said accepting the energy from these cards, I wonder if these are cards that I'm kind of feeling like you should like meditate on the symbols. Like, I don't know if this is how you're supposed to use the deck, but I'm just getting like this intuitive feeling that like if you're a visual, like through visualization is like super important in getting in touch with yourself and psychic awareness. If you meditate on this card, kind of memorize the image for like a minute. Close your eyes. Do you still see the card? That could be a way of internalizing the message. I think that would be pretty cool. So next we have 27. The bubble. You are seeing only the truth of your perspective. Okay, I'm not even gonna read that. That's a lot. So I'm feeling like the bubble. Oh, that's interesting. So I imagine like this being like yourself in that bubble right there, that little dot, and you're blocking you're carefully blocking your energy field. It's like you don't want anyone to like, you don't want to let anyone in, but you're okay with like other people letting you in. And it feels like you're living in this bubble, this space where you're not really allowing people to come in, and you're not talking about your issues, and you're not talking about your problems, and that is something that you struggle with, letting people in to the point where your thought processes are all biased. You are not allowing other people to help you. Maybe because you don't think that you're worthy of the help. It just feels like you have a major wall up, but you're also super giving and super kind and super loving to other people, and you're willing to take on their stuff. But the self-love is just not quite here. 71. Depletion. All right. So, 10 of Wands. When you carry too much weight on your shoulders and you overburden yourself and you're in conflict with others, you deplete yourself. You deplete your energy. You're unable to really fully think in a way that is clear. Therefore, you're unable to really assess how you're feeling, what you need to do in your life to become happier and more content. I think that once you really eliminate this pattern of not truly loving yourself and caring for yourself, you will no longer feel depleted. You're probably also depleted because your subconscious thoughts and desires, your subconscious negative thoughts are depleting you without you even knowing it. They're just like laying in your subconscious and resting there, and they're not entirely, they're taking up a lot of space, right? And they are influencing you whether you are consciously aware of that or not. So we have honoring adversity. A fire reveals a path of renewed direction once the burning is complete. Consider doing a burning ritual. Letting go. You write all of the things that you need to let go of on a piece of paper. I need to let go of the feeling that I am not enough. I need to let go of this, this, and this. And you burn it. And you do this typically on I would do it during a ritual, like a full moon ritual. You can do it anytime. And that's really a way of just releasing, some sort of release. But this card also is honoring adversity. When things get tough, you have to deal with them. So it's like honoring adversity is a way of treating yourself with respect and knowing that things go wrong for a reason. Things go wrong so that you can deal with them. Things go wrong so that you can learn a lesson. Life is all about lessons. Okay. It's kind of like that. There's a saying, like, it's things are not happening to you. They're happening for you. And I think that's embodied in this this reading. Like, all of the negative thinking is like, why does this always happen to me? Why am I not good enough? Why am I this and this? And I'm feeling like you're someone who's like good at your job. Like, that's not an issue, but it's like other areas of your life where you are struggling. Sorry, I don't know why I had to separate these. Alright, the last card is acknowledging apprehension. When it's a yes, nothing is stopping you, and I'm unsure, it's always a no. I feel that in making all these changes, you are apprehensive to make these changes, and that is something that you need to delve deeper and recognize where this apprehension comes from. Acknowledge it, and then you can move on, you can move forward. This is something that you need to figure out why you are apprehensive about yourself, apprehensive about your growth. There's a lot that you have to do here. And I think once you put in all of the work and just identify these things and hear it from someone else, then you'll be able to truly work through these things. So I do offer private readings. I'm also running a sale if you're watching this in October. Not a sale, a special, a Halloween special. I offer in-depth readings, and in the in-depth readings, we do an entire spread, uncover some of your, the things in your subconscious, go a little deeper into the shadow work. If that is something that you're interested in, then please go to my website, thespiritualgoth.com. If you're unsure of exactly what that in-depth spread is like, then you can send me a DM at the spiritual goth. Oh my gosh, I can say my TH words now. So I got the bottom braces taken off today. Oh, like, I'm so happy. I think I can talk normally now. Anyway, I'm really happy. Sorry, I just like realized that. Super exciting. So yeah, the spiritual goth on Instagram, and I thank you so much for watching. Something really, really, really exciting is coming up that I'm working on, and I can't wait to share it to you. So follow me on Instagram if you'd like to know about it. Have a fantastic rest of your day. If you have any questions, or if you just like to comment below and let me know how this reading resonated with you, that would be fantastic. Anyway, I'll see you in the next reading. Okay, pile number 2, you guys get me in my black craft Halloween shirt. Okay, so the way this works is I pulled 2 tarot cards. The first tarot card is representative of your past, and the second one is representative of your present. The reason why I'm only pulling past and present is because when you're looking into the subconscious and you're trying to determine what might be causing inner pain or subconscious fears or whatever shadow work you need to do, needs to be rooted in the past. Figuring out what happened in the past, whether that's from this lifetime or a previous lifetime, and figuring out how that's affecting your present and just being aware of that. So that is why I pulled past and present. And then I pulled oracle decks from the oracle cards from the oracle deck that I pulled earlier. And then I pulled oracle cards from the oracle decks that I showed you earlier. And lastly, I pulled an affirmation card from Super Attractor. I love this deck. So let's get into it. So first, we have the 5 of Cups reversed. This is your past. The 10 of Swords as your present. And this one's interesting because I love that everything is fine. Which this deck has 2 versions of this card. They have the regular 10 of Swords, and then they have the Everything is Fine card. So to me, the 5 of Cups is really a card of grief and loss. but yours is reversed. So this card here, it's really representing your past. And the Five of Cups, generally upright, it really is a card of grief and loss and just true sorrow. When I look at this, I see she's wearing all black. Some of her cups are falling into the water, and the cups represent emotions. And reversed, it's a card that represents feeling despair, but having to kind of let that go and move on. So I think you're someone who has dealt with a lot of negative emotions in your life. You've probably had a lot of loss in your life, and you've had to, and not loss like for some of you that loss is significant, like losing a family member or losing a friend. And then for some of you, that loss is just like losing a sense of yourself, like having to deal with like setbacks in your life, having to deal with disappointment. I think a lot of this card is like having to deal with a lot and having to move forward from that. And I think that's something that you kind of have to remind yourself, like, I've been through a lot, I've moved forward, I've moved on, now, like, what next? And you kind of had to stay in that mindset for so long. Okay, so I just got through this, like, what's coming next? What's coming up next? I'm getting a sense of always expecting the worst from this card. Always feeling as though, not trusting yourself, something bad is going to happen. So there's a lot of just negative emotions in regards to, like, the relationship that you have with yourself, and that just stems from, like I said, some of you might have had a traumatic childhood, some of you might have had friendships that just were betrayed in the past. There's a lot that you still need to let go of. It's like you moved forward, but you didn't really let go. And then in the present, you have the everything is fine, the Ten of Swords. And I love this card because it's like, it's interesting because, like, I see this card as someone who's being backstabbed. And so it's like you've been backstabbed so many times that you can't trust anyone. And that's where you're at right now. I can't trust anyone. I'm always expecting the worst. I'm thinking that things are just going to go wrong at any moment. I don't trust myself, like I was saying earlier. There's just a lot of you being very wary of everything, and that's holding you back from moving forward. That's really holding you in a standstill, a place where you're unable to make any drastic changes in your life because you're holding on to these emotions deep within your subconscious. Moving on to the oracle cards. So this is the deck where they're just images. So I'll show you the images, and then we'll look at the book. Okay. Okay, yes, so we have suppression. This card is suppression. What are you suppressing? Suppressing is the act of trying to stop yourself from becoming aware of or expressing or acting on something that is arisen from you within. You can suppress great many things. For example, you can try to stop yourself from feeling emotions or stuff them down. The stuff down emotions is to silence a personal truth that is desperate to come out. You can try to stop yourself from thinking something, and you can refuse to acknowledge or express a desire or a need, just to name a few. So this is kind of what I was saying. You moved on, but you buried it instead of dealing with it. You moved on from all of the pain that you've had in the past. And it's kind of like you just accepted the way things are. You're like, well, this is just who I am. I don't let people in. But it doesn't have to be just the way you are. And I think that deep down you know that. But it's like you're afraid to do the hard work because you're afraid of what's going to come up. And so I think that's why suppressing card is coming up. 55. not seeing the signs. You need to be aware that signs are everywhere. In this situation, you are not looking for them or ignoring them and have no awareness of them when they occur. Know that the universe at large is always giving you guidance, always trying to help you. It is your choice whether or not to recognize and accept the guidance. Okay, so this card is telling me, that your guides have been trying to contact you. Your angels, they're trying to guide you into a direction, and I feel like you're just pulling back. They're probably sending you signs. That's interesting because this card is number 55. So it's like, I'm sure that was on purpose. Angel numbers. When you recognize angel numbers anywhere, like 555, 333, 1111, 111, if you see repeating numbers 1010, pay attention to them because that is your spiritual team. They're trying to reach you. So definitely see if you can just tune in a little bit more and be more aware of what's happening around you. Because I think you're being pulled in a direction and you're just, either you're subconsciously ignoring it and you're just like, oh, it's just a coincidence, or you are subconsciously ignoring it and you should just pay a little bit more attention, because I think you're going through a period where you kind of need to wake up a little bit, and this process is like, they're trying to like pull you out of this darkness that you may or may not be aware of that you are in. 76 is our last card here from this deck. Deflection. You are currently using deflection as a tool to avoid self-awareness in a situation where you really do need to recognize something within yourself. Okay, are you seeing the trend here, the theme here? There's a lot of just like shoving things down so that you don't need to fully deal with them. A lot of deflecting, a lot of suppression, a lot of like, I think you are self-aware, but like, you just ignore it. You ignore all of the signs that are telling you that something needs to change because you're so used to being the way that you are. You're so set in into who you've become. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with you, obviously, but how can you live a more free life instead of trying to control parts of your life and trying to grasp what you think is the right way to do things? And what I mean by that is like not letting people in or not allowing yourself to be seen or heard, like that, at least in a positive way. I feel that there's just a lot going on here inside of yourself that needs to be brought out. So it's interesting because when I first pulled this card, I didn't even read any of this. I didn't even like think about it, and I immediately knew what this card was. Addicted. And they're like the spikes coming out of his back. And I honestly think that you are addicted to feeling. I thought it so perfectly in my head earlier when it came out. You're addicted to this feeling. You're addicted to feeling hurt. I think that's what it was. You're addicted to feeling hurt because it's comfortable for you. It's kind of like if everything else is chaotic and if I can make dramatize everything else, I don't need to deal with myself, what's happening inside. It's like you don't know how to not be in a state of pain, so you just thrive in pain. It makes sense if you're the one who this message is going to. You're like, yeah, that makes sense to me. If this message isn't for you, then it probably doesn't resonate. But I think that on a subconscious level, you're addicted to the pain that you've experienced because it's just something that you don't know how to break away from. So you thrive on it. That's like the best way that I can put it. And then we have envious gluttony. Obviously, like, when you're looking at shadow work, these are the ugly parts of yourself that you do not want. No one wants to pay attention to. No one wants to see like, oh, like I'm like envious and I'm gluttonous and I'm addicted and blah blah blah. No one wants to see that. That's why people don't do the shadow work. So this reading, it might look ugly, but that's because these are the dark parts of yourself that need to come to light so that you can be aware of them and deal with them. So envious gluttony. This picture is a little creepy. I don't know if you can fully see it because of my ring light, but I think that you're so there are a lot of insecurities that you have, and these insecurities are causing you to look at other people and like think, oh, I wish I had that, or I wish I could be more like that. And it comes off in a way that is just not good for you. This is kind of like goes with the addicted card. It's like addicted to making yourself feel bad, addicted to self-sabotage. That's probably the right word. And this has a lot to do with like I said, the way that you view yourself, which needs to be changed, and leads us into our next card. So these are the things that you need to heal. I am most powerful when my creativity is given a voice, expanding inner power. It's like there's some inner power, inner strength within you, and you just need to kind of look within and find it, illuminate it. Doing shadow work means that you are illuminating the dark parts of yourself. You're shining light onto and inside of your, and like basically around your energy field. And that is what needs to happen here. We also have greeting wellness, knowing that you're worthy of being well, you're worthy of love, you're worthy of balance. Balance is the key to a life of infinite miracles. You are worthy. That is very important for you to know. What do you know? Embracing worthiness. I feel worthiness filling every cell of my body, and it feels amazing. Coming into yourself and knowing that you are worthy of the change, you are worthy of love and light and happiness and healthy relationships and a healthy relationship with yourself, knowing that will really, really set you forward. I would say like morning affirmations would be really good for you. Chakra cleansing of the solar plexus would be good for you. Root chakra cleansing, heart chakra cleansing. Those are things that I would say are good for you. And check out some guided meditations on YouTube for those chakras. Another thing that I would recommend to you guys in this pile, yeah, I would do a little rose quartz or big rose quartz. Just like some heart chakras, some sound healing maybe. Do some sound healing, some EFT tapping. Just like I am worthy is very important. Let's leave you with an affirmation card. I let my inner sense of quiet multiply each day as I strengthen my faith in the love of the universe. This kind of reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. It's happening for you, not to you. Know that these are the lessons that you are supposed to learn in order for you to learn about yourself, in order for you to move forward. If you need to quiet the inner voice that you have, even the subconscious voice, because it comes out sometimes. And when you do that, then you'll just see that, like, you'll feel lighter. You'll feel a lot lighter. You'll feel happier. You'll feel, like, I don't know, just, like, cleansed. And speaking of cleansing, maybe even some, like, I don't have it here, but, like, some clear quartz would be good for you, too. I wish you all the very best. If you're interested in an in-depth reading with me, check out my website, thespiritualgoth.com, or message me on Instagram if you have any questions about my packages. I would love to help you out. We can delve deeper, get into the subconscious, really pull out what is which events are causing all this happening stuff. And yeah, we can get into it. So Thank you for watching this video. I will be posting a lot more, so please like and subscribe because I honestly think I have a lot to share, like a lot to share. And I've only been doing this for 4 months, and I am just really happy with like the way, how quickly things are shifting and things are going. And I have so much to share, so I really, really hope that you can like and subscribe so that you can see more videos. Alright, I will see you guys next time. Alright, pile number 3. I have a lot to share with you. I pulled 2 tarot cards and a ton of different types of oracle cards to give you a full picture and help you figure out what might be lying in your subconscious and what you might need to be doing some shadow work on. So, the reason why I pulled 2, my foot fell asleep. Blech. So I pulled past and present because it's important to know what from your past is influencing your present. What from your past is bringing about negative thought patterns, negative behavior patterns. What from your past is causing you to react to certain situations and to certain thoughts and feelings that come up for you. So I pulled the past because it's really important to examine the past in order to be present and examine the present. I did not pull a future card because when you're doing shadow work, the future hardly matters. It does, but it doesn't. You want to focus on the past, and you want to focus on how it's affecting your present so that you can heal the past and heal your present, that you can move on to a brighter future. So, immediately when I pulled these cards, I'm getting the sense that you guys are artists. You're creators of something. There's something that you're creating. There's something that you want to do, and it has to do with like getting in touch with like your soul, like yourself. There are probably some artists, some singers, some writers, some dancers, some actors here. You're into something that involves creativity and really getting in touch with like who you are deep down. If you don't resonate with that, there's still something that you're trying to accomplish in life, and it's big. It definitely has to do with like maybe business ideas. That's creative in a sense. Like there's some sort of like idea that you are birthing. And yeah, let's get into it. So the first card that I pulled is the Two of Wands, and it is reversed. The Two of Wands is a card that represents like moving forward, having decisions to make, but yours is reversed, so it makes me think that you are resisting making decisions. You're full of indecisions, and you've always been full of indecisions, and that's because you're fearing moving forward and advancing forward. You have a fear of actually accomplishing the thing that you're setting out to accomplish. You're writing a book, you have a fear of finishing that book. You're trying to be an actress, you have a fear of actually landing a job. It's like, it's weird. It's a weird subconscious thing. It's like, okay, but like when I do that thing, I'll have attained it, and then what happens? Like I'm so used to like sitting in, oh, I can't do it, or like, it's just, there's a lot of like playing things safe with that card. Like you don't really want to push yourself too much. You might be working hard on it, but on a subconscious level, do you really want to succeed? I just feel that there's a lot that's holding you back, and it's kind of laying within your subconscious, and you're just not really fully aware that you are holding yourself back, and you have to really ask yourself why. In the present, you have the Star reversed, which represents really being in the dark, feeling as though you're the star and your light has been dimmed. And I really think that this has to do with you not feeling as though you are worth the push forward. It's like, yeah, like I know I'm good at this, I know I'm confident in this thing, but like I don't feel right with myself, so I can't really move forward. And I'm seeing that here. Just a lot of like negative thoughts, like negative self-talk, and you're very concerned with the future, very concerned, but you let it hinder your present to the point where you're almost paralyzed and you don't even want to continue on with whatever it is that you're working on. I think that you really need to heal from that past. Like where is this feeling of stuckness coming from. I'm feeling a lot of blockages from you. You guys have a lot of emotional blockages and some trapped emotions, maybe even in your body, that I would look into. Let's look at the oracle cards. So I have these oracle cards are only symbols and numbers, and then I have to look into the book to see what they mean. But here are the symbols. That one's pretty cool. Let's see what they mean. All right. Number 28. Triangulation. The thing you aren't clearly seeing is triangulation. This could mean that you are being triangulated, or you are triangulating against someone, or people are triangulating against you, or all of the above. Triangulation is one of the most common tactics of social manipulation, and it usually happens subconsciously. Triangulation occurs when, instead of communicating directly to someone that we have conflict with so as to create resolution, we go to a third person with the subconscious or even conscious desire to get them on our side against the person we have conflict with. We may use them as a go-between to relay the information to the person we have conflict with. You need to deal with conflict when it is tiny and directly with the person you have conflict with. You need to figure out what you need and then meet those needs and meet them directly. Manipulation only occurs when a person feels they cannot get their needs met directly, so they must get them met indirectly. Try to figure out what people, as well as yourself, actually need and actually want. If you think someone is triangulating, ask the person who is triangulating directly what they want out of telling you what they're telling you. If you're triangulating, what do you want out of gossiping? If you're struggling to discern whether or not you are the one triangulating, feel free to... They're saying reshuffle. Interesting. I feel that okay, so there are two types of people, obviously. There are some of you who might be triangulating on a subconscious level. And I think it's because I feel that you're not very secure with yourself. And this insecurity can lend you to feeling very codependent on other people. And so you might, on a subconscious level, remember this is a shadow work reading, so these are the ugliest parts of ourselves that we like to avoid and not think about. So I feel that sometimes you can come off as manipulative to people because it's like you need people to be on your corner, because I just feel like your light is so dimmed that you need the validation from others. And I'm feeling that pretty strongly, just like this this feeling of like not being fulfilled. And so because your art isn't being fulfilled, you're not fulfilling yourself. It's like you're attaching yourself to all of these social issues and social circles, and you're just not in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing right now. So you're trying to distract yourself. And for some of you, you might just be a bit of a pushover. Like, I think people take advantage of you because you're so nice and you're so kind, and you don't pay attention to yourself, so you put so much attention into other people. And it's kind of brought you to this place where you are easily manipulated. And I think that is something that brings your self-worth even less. Like, it even more so lessens your self-worth. And I think that this is something that you just need to be aware of. It's like, in either sense, if you're the one who is the triangulator or you're the one who is being manipulated, just be aware of it on a subconscious level. Like, figure out your relationships, examine them, examine which ones are healthy. Are there some that where it's just gossip and like you're not really getting much out of it? Be around people who are making you grow. That's the sense that I'm getting here. All right, 29. Wanting to be right. Okay. So, I'm just feeling as though you are someone who needs to really feed your soul with your passions and your gifts. And when you're not doing that, your energy, the energy that comes out of you, is not the best energy, because it's like you're not allowing the good, positive, grounding energy to come in when you're not doing your thing. So what comes out of you is the subconscious level manipulation, the gossip, the issues with relationships, and then the wanting to be right. I think there's a lot of like just like disappointment and anger that you feel within yourself, and it's really showing up in your relationships. Like, some people might find you to be a little bit like rash, I think, like just a little bit like walking on eggshells around you. So I would really think about the way that you come off in your relationships. 45. The filter. You are seeing the situation at hand through a filter and you don't even know it. As a result, you are not seeing the situation clearly. So this is viewing things from a very limited perspective. Not really, again, it's like the wanting to be right, like not really fully taking in the perspective of others. And I really think that this all stems from just like not truly feeling yourself, because you are holding yourself back from really being your true and full self. 56. The comfort zone. You are not... Okay, I don't need to read that. This card is showing you that you are used to staying in your comfort zone. The Two of Wands reversed. It's like you need to get out of your comfort zone here in order to really fulfill whatever passion or whatever dream you have for yourself. I'm really seeing that there's a lot of playing it safe, not being your true self, not like... I feel like you're in a position where you're just like, everything seems wrong and unaligned, but that's because you're not believing in yourself, you're not believing in the universe, you're not trusting that things are going to work out for you. Instead, you're like pushing back and you're like, no, I don't want to do that, I'm afraid to do that, I'm afraid of getting hurt, I'm afraid of failing, I'm afraid of all these things. You gotta let go of all of that. You gotta just surrender all of that. Because there is just a lot that can be going well for you when you just kind of surrender, give in, let things happen for you. But know that it's okay to let things happen for you. Like, it's okay to love yourself. I think that's really important for me to tell you. All right, so we have fated to suffer. I love that because it's like Snow White taking the apple. I really think that you're just like, oh, well, I'm just like I'm not meant to be happy. Like, it just feels like I'm just getting that vibe from you. Like, I'm not... It's okay if, like, things don't work out for me. They were never going to work out anyway. There's just a lot of negativity surrounding what it is that you're trying to do, whatever your craft is, whatever you're trying to accomplish. And I would say you definitely need to release that. We also have obsession. So maybe you're kind of... Oh, I think that goes with this card. Envious gluttony, which is interesting because the last people have that too. It's like, I feel that you are in a place where you are obsessing what other people have over what other people have. And you're like, well, this person's doing like so well. They have so many followers, and like, look at their art, and like, oh, I don't know. Just like, there's just a lot of like not really noticing the gifts that you have within you and kind of looking elsewhere instead of looking within and saying like, oh wow, I'm awesome, I'm amazing, look at all the stuff that I can do. I'm not getting that sense from you guys. And that's something that you really need to tap into. Your love for yourself and your craft. There's a reason why you have been called to do that craft. There's a reason why you've been called to dance or write or sing or act. Not everyone can do that. So there's a reason, like your childhood, teenage, young-minded intuition was like, this is what I want to do, and this is where I'm headed in life. And then as you get older, your ego takes over and your subconscious takes over, and then they're like, nope, let's rein that in a little bit. Let's draw you back from that high thinking idea. Let's stay here because we're comfortable. That's where you're at. You're here. You're comfortable. You want to be here. You can get here. You have to like raise your thinking, raise your vibrations. Okay, so we have inspiring others. I help others by feel empowered by acknowledging their gifts. And I think you have to acknowledge your gifts and feel empowered yourself in order to give that back to other people. This is also why I think that you're a creative soul, because I think you have a lot to share with others and give others, but you have to determine, no, you have to realize and recognize that you are the person who is meant to share something with someone else. Like, you are the one who is meant to influence others. Or just even, like, make them happy with a drawing or a poem. Like, little things can really make a difference with people. There's only what life is asking of me. Awakening inspired action. So there's a lot of, like, you needing to kind of delve within and, like, find your inspiration again. Figure out what it is that makes you awesome and hone in on that, and then actually make an action plan to really, really embrace that. And once you do that, then you will amplify abundance. Abundance is my birthright, and I receive it now. So you might be experiencing a lot of financial blocks, financial setbacks, and that's because you might have a lot of money blocks. And that's very, very, very tied to the way that you think about what you can accomplish and what you can have. So you're probably like, I'm an artist. I can't make money from this. I'll never make money from this. When you have that mindset, when you tell yourself that you can't do something, that you won't be able to live in abundance, and you won't live in abundance. That's not going to happen for you. You have to live in the feeling of, I can do anything. And once you do that, you will see that, like, you will start generating income based on whatever it is that you're trying to do. You will start to see a lot of changes in your life, material, spiritual, and physical growth in your life once you kind of heal all this. Okay, so I have 2 affirmation cards for you. One of them is, feeling good will bring me far more than whatever I thought I needed. What can you do that makes you feel good? How can you feel good and really allow yourself to feel good? That could be running, doing art, your craft, like reading. What can you do to make yourself feel good? When you feel good on the inside, everything good happens for you on the outside. I am kind and loving toward others while creating clear boundaries that protect my good feeling emotions. You are someone who cares a lot. You are someone who is probably an empath. And I think that is why, like, it's so interesting. It's like, you care so much about people, and I think that's what people see. I don't think people see, like, a manipulative person. Like, I'm not saying that that's what people see. I'm saying on a subconscious level, that's probably something that is happening in your relationships, but I think that you care a lot about people, and you try to focus your energy on other people, and that's the issue here. We need to focus on ourselves in order to get ourselves to a place where we can help other people and focus on other people. I hope this reading was helpful to you, will give you some clarity, and will give you some things to think about journal about the things that I said in this reading, and if you have any questions, let me know. If this resonated with you, please, you can send me a DM on Instagram at the Spiritual Goth, or you can write in the comments section if you feel comfortable doing that. I would love to hear from you, and if you'd like to get an in-depth reading from me, that is the reading that I would suggest for this type of information that I just shared with you. Because in an in-depth reading, we go through an entire spread. We can look at the subconscious, what might be affecting these issues, like what might be affecting your ability to make decisions and ability to really move forward. There are a lot of different spreads that we could do. Life purpose spread, so many. So if you're interested in that, go to my website, thespiritualgoth.com, and book online. Lots more videos coming soon. Please like and subscribe. I really do enjoy doing this. I put a lot of work into these videos, and I would love it if you watched more of them. And subscribing means that you'll be alerted to my videos when they come out, and expect a lot more from me. Alright? Have a fantastic day, and if you're watching this before Halloween or on Halloween, or even after Halloween, happy Halloween.